Get ready, Padres fans. It's time for the EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show on the Padres Radio Network.
Tatis hit third, 2 outs. Fernando takes off. He's going to steal home without a play.
Coming up, we'll have a recap of the previous Padres game, a preview of today's starting pitching matchup, and our keys to the game. Plus, we'll hear from manager Mike Shildt. From the Padres Radio Network, here's Sam Levitt.
San Diego Padres baseball coming up on 97.3 The Fan and the Padres Radio Network. Today the Padres take on the Chicago White Sox in the final game of a 3-game series. Our starting pitching matchup today for the White Sox, right-hander Sean Burke, and for the Padres, right-hander Yu Darvish. Hi again everyone, Sam Levitt with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park. First pitch coming up at 1:10 as the Padres go for a 3-game sweep in the final home game of the regular season here in 2024. Coming up in the next 50 minutes, we'll hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt. Plus, we hear from Padres outfielder Brandon Lockridge, and we also check in with new Padres infielder Nick Ahmed, activated earlier today. We'll tell you more about that coming up in just a little bit. But first, let's set the table, brought to you by Fraser Farms Market. Set your table with the highest quality of natural and organic products from Fraser Farms Market, a San Diego original since 1971 with 3 locations, La Mesa, Vista, and Oceanside. Padres entered today 89-66. They've won 7 of their last 8 games. They entered today sitting in the National League's first wild card spot, 2 games ahead of Arizona. Padres entered today 3 games back of the LA Dodgers for first place in the National League West with a 3-game series against LA starting on Tuesday. Padres can clinch a postseason spot today, but they need to win today's game and get some help as well. We'll have more on that coming up in just a little bit. Meanwhile, the White Sox come in 36-119. If the White Sox lose today, they will tie the 1962 expansion New York Mets for the most losses in modern Major League history. How about what happened last night here in downtown San Diego? Let's run it back.
How did the Padres fare in their last game? Let's take a look back with our Padres Rewind. Presented by Hamul Casino. With thrilling slots and tables and all the best rewards, Hamul Casino has all the fun you're looking for. Hamul Casino. Fun above all else.
In the bottom of the second, Xander Bogaerts put the Padres in front.
One of the things that happened in late June, as we discussed, is Manny Machado. Ooh.
Bogaerts gets into one, out to deep left center field. Robert is back at the wall to look, and it's going to go. Home run, Xander Bogaerts. Now 4 for 7 in his career against Chris Flexen. A 2-run shot to give the Padres a 2-0 lead.
The score was still 2-0 as we went to the bottom half of the 4th inning. Then we took a ride on the freight train.
2-2 in the air to right field, pretty well struck. Fletcher twisting around at the wall, looking up, gonna go! Another home run for David Peralta. He has seen Flexen very well over the years, and now he homers against him for the second time here tonight. 3-0 San Diego.
Martin Perez was great early on. He pitched 5 scoreless innings to begin the night, striking out 6 in the process. Jackson Merrill made it 4-0 with an RBI single. Padres then led 4-1 going to the 8th inning. Jason Adam came in. He wasn't very sharp last night, ended up loading the bases and then walking in a run to make it 4-2. Tanner Scott then came in with the bases loaded and just 1 out.
The 0-1 pitch swung on, hit hard, right to second base. Cronenworth has it to Bogaerts 1, back to first, in time, and a double play to end the inning. A little 4-6-3 for Tanner Scott, and that's all for the Southsiders. They get 1 in the 8th.
In the bottom half of the 8th inning, Padres still leading 4-2. Elias Diaz gave the Padres a little bit of insurance.
Here's the pitch. And Diaz sends it in the air, deep to left center field. This one is way back, gonna go! 2-run homer for Elias Diaz, and the Padres get that insurance here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Diaz's first home run as a Padre, and it's 6-2.
Padres had that 6-2 lead heading to the top half of the 9th inning. Tanner Scott put on the finishing touch.
0-2. The pitch to Robert is swung on and missed. Strike 3. Tanner Scott strikes out Luis Robert Jr. as the Padres beat the White Sox 6-2. They are that much closer to sealing a playoff spot here in 2024.
Final score yesterday, Padres 6 and the White Sox 2. And now they go for a 3-game sweep of Chicago on a gorgeous Sunday afternoon here in America's finest city. Let's go inside the Jerry Coleman Broadcast Center.
Let's go inside the Padres broadcast booth for a deep dive on today's matchup from Jesse Agler in our Padres game preview on the Padres Radio Network.
All right, Jesse, let's begin with just the general vibe of today. It's an interesting day today. Braves are right now leading the Marlins 3-2 in Miami, but that game a long way from over. We know if the Braves lose, if the Padres win, if the Mets lose, Padres could clinch a playoff spot today. They also all of a sudden are 3 games back of L.A. in the NL West with that series beginning on Tuesday. Your general look at how things are shaping up as we enter this final game of this series on this Sunday.
Definitely a little bit of a weird and unique day, but beyond that, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, this is like everything you dream of late in the regular season. You know, not only are the games you're playing important, but, you know, the scoreboard watching thing becomes the, well, let me watch the game on my phone thing. And, you know, like you, I'm sure, and probably a lot of other people around this building right now, I'm watching the Braves and the Marlins. Couldn't believe the Fish at second and third, nobody out last inning and didn't get anybody home down a run. But, you know, I mean, that's fun. Like, this is great as a baseball fan. You know, like having a dog in the fight in the Rocky Dodger game last night and being really thrilled when the Rockies won. Like, this is what it's all about as a fan in September. And obviously, in October, things become more serious and much more straightforward. But as far as, like, late September baseball goes, this is about as good as it gets. And just a lot of fun. You know, we care about the Diamondback game. We care about a Braves-Marlins game. We care about a Mets-Phillies game. Care, obviously, about the Dodger game coming up. And it just makes, you know, as far as I'm concerned, for, like, just an absolutely wonderful day as a fan. And the Braves have just hit another home run. They now lead 4-2. So that's what I'm talking about, right? Like, you and I are having this conversation, and I'm watching some guy named Curry for the Marlins give up a home run.
Right. Yeah, it's a unique time of year. It's a very fun time of year. Padres have a couple of opportunities today, regardless of what the Braves or the Mets do. They have an opportunity to pick up their 90th win of the season. They also have an opportunity to hand the White Sox a record-tying 120th loss of the season. Jesse, we'll let you and Tony, and I'll certainly talk about you, Darvish, and the baseball side of things coming up a little bit later in our pregame show, and, of course, throughout the course of the ball game. But I think it's a good day to talk about the fans here at Petco Park. Yesterday, the 55th sellout of the season, more than 45,000 plus in the building. I would imagine a very good chance it's a 56th sellout here today in the regular season home finale. Jesse, you've been a part of this organization for a long time. You've seen the evolution of Padres baseball, of Petco Park over the course of the last decade. 55, 56 sellouts, 40,000 plus in the building every single night. These fans for another season, man, they deserve a lot of credit for what they've done and the environment they've created here in downtown San Diego. It has become a pretty special place.
We will hang the biggest start we have for this fan base. And evolution is a great word that you use to describe it in terms of where the organization has come. And obviously the fans, you know, follow along. Those games against the Astros this past week, I mean, I haven't been as a part of a regular season baseball environment, anything close to that in my life. Not here, not anywhere else. You know, I mean, just in terms of, you know, an interleague, and I know the Astros are good, and everybody was kind of half joking that it was a World Series preview, but, like, you know, still a midweek interleague series in September, and it was as good of a regular season environment as I've ever seen. All 3 games, including a literal afternoon day game, you know, during the week. And, I mean, it was just incredible. But beyond that, as you said, it's going to be sellout 56 out of 80 games here today. Padres are very likely going to set their single series attendance record again here today. Probably going to set their all-time attendance record again here today. Remember, they set it last year. Well over 3 million people will have come through the turnstiles here at Petco Park during the regular season. Hopefully there are an awful lot of more games here for these fans to show up to and show out at. But I tell you, it is so much more fun doing what we all get to do with a good team. And then it goes to a whole nother level when you have a fan base that is coming out the way this one is. Because the reality is we travel all around baseball and we see it. There are plenty of good teams where they still got 23,000, in the ballpark on a Monday night against a random team. That's just how it is most places. That is not how it is here. And eternal credit to the Padre fans for showing up every single day, every single night. Didn't matter who they were playing, what day of the week it is, what time the game was starting. This place has had all the juice all season long. And I don't often say I speak for the organization because there are people who do that are far more important than I am. But thank you to everybody who has come out, because just another remarkable, beautiful year. And I said it during the playoff run in 2022. I'll say it again. When the Padres are playing like this and everybody is as bought in as they are, the Padres have become the center of the culture here in San Diego, and we have these fans to thank for that.
Extremely well said. Couldn't agree more. And you used the word juice. Hey, Padres win here today. It could get very interesting up in L.A. starting on Tuesday. A lot of juice going into that series as well. But first things first here today, Padres trying to take care of business against the Chicago White Sox. Jesse, great stuff as always. We'll talk to you and Tony coming up at the top of the hour. Thanks so much, and enjoy this final regular season home game of 2024.
Sounds good, Sam. Enjoy it.
All right, that's Jesse Agler joining us on our EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show here on the Padres Radio Network as we get ready for the final game of this 3-game set. I said it's a beautiful day here in downtown San Diego. Really is. I'm looking up at the sky right now. I don't see a single cloud. Sun is shining. Fans are filing in. Everybody here inside the Western Metal Building having a good time, eating nachos or having a beer, whatever it might be. So appreciate everybody coming out all season long. It's been quite the year as far as the fan support once again here in downtown San Diego. A lot to do on our pregame coverage. When we come back, we hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt. Plus, coming up a little bit later, we hear from a couple of guys that you may not have heard from so far this season, one being new Padres outfielder Brandon Lockridge, who has played a nice role on this team as of late, pinch running, coming in for defense, a start or two as well. We'll also tell you about a move the Padres made earlier today. Pretty interesting move, so we'll get into that a little bit later as well. First pitch coming up at 1:10 here in downtown San Diego. You're listening to the Padres Radio Network. Our EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Your water perfected. EcoWater SoCal. Your water should be perfect. Find them online at EcoWaterSoCal.com. Sam Levitt with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park on a gorgeous Sunday afternoon here in downtown San Diego. Final game of this three-game series between the Padres and the Chicago White Sox. The final home game of the regular season. Hard to believe we're already here, but obviously everybody in this building today hoping there is plenty more baseball to come here at Petco Park. I certainly think there will be. Very good chance there will be. Who knows? A wild card series, an NLDS, an NLCS, maybe even beyond that. We certainly hope so. But for the regular season, for the normal portion of the schedule, this is it for 2024. Padres, of course, have an off day tomorrow. They will hit the road for the start of a 6-game road trip to finish up the regular season to L.A. and then to Arizona. Pardon me. I almost said Atlanta there for a second because they have the Braves and Marlins game on one of the TVs here inside the loft, and I just noticed the Marlins have tied it against the Braves 4-4. Braves had a 4-2 lead in that game. Miami has come back to tie it at 4, and again, that's very significant here today because there's one way the Padres clinch a postseason spot before the day is over. They need three things to happen. Number one, they need the Braves to lose in Miami. Number two, the Padres need to win their game against the White Sox. And number three, later on today, Sunday Night Baseball, the Mets play the Phillies. They need the Phillies to beat the Mets. If all three of those things were to happen, Padres clinch a postseason berth in the National League. They at least secure a National League wildcard spot. So again, the first step of that process is the Marlins and the Braves, and we are keeping a very close eye on that score. Again, 4-4 in Miami right now. We'll have a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard coming up in just a little bit. Let's hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt before today's game.
Let's pull up a seat in the manager's office and hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt. Presented by Sinley Food. Spice up your culinary life.
Day game after a night game, so no pregame media availability today for Mike Shildt. So let's revisit some of what Mike had to say after yesterday's 6-2 win against the White Sox. One of the great parts of yesterday's win, Martin Perez going 5+ innings, allowed just one run. Another really good start from Martin. Padres also had 3 home runs in this game, in that game last night. Xander Bogaerts, a 2-run home run in the second to make it 2-0. David Peralta, a solo home run in the 4th inning to make it 3-0. Elias Diaz would make it a 6-2 game with a 2-run shot in the 8th inning. Padres went on to win that game 6-2 yesterday. Mike Shildt begins by talking about Martin Perez and his contributions to the Padres here in 2024 after getting traded from Pittsburgh.
Got a lot of time in the league and has had a lot of success, so it's a beautiful, relationship as far as Ruben and the catchers and everybody that works with him. But also, it's as important, I feel like, as making sure we had, which we did. The conversation with him was like, "Who are you? And you're successful. What are you about?" And then putting those two together, and he's done a really nice job for us. Threw the ball well again tonight.
Specifically about Diaz and the defense that he's brought, it seems to have been multiple games where just like little stuff that catchers don't often get noticed for. What have you thought of his overall body of work defensively?
Yeah, I thought it's been really good. And again, the nuances that you allude to are things that don't necessarily show up in here, but are super real and tangible. I like the way he's able to navigate the lineup, like the way he works with the staff. He's got a good feel when he goes out and makes his trips. Timing of that's all good. The blocking's good, the physical part, the arm's been good. That's already been on display. But just the nuances of the position that are really critical for a good staff to have.
Do you feel like Xander is maybe getting more comfortable? I mean, he made some nice plays tonight. There've been a couple rough ones, and that might have been understandable in that he hadn't played there in a while, and it's different mechanics. What did you?
Yeah, I think he's been tremendous. I think he's really gotten back to it. I mean, there's a couple balls that, like you say, proved he's human, but he's made some really nice plays tonight again. Getting that rhythm, getting that comfort of being on the left side again, and everything coming in. But I think he's doing a very nice job for us.
was Padres manager Mike Shildt after yesterday's game, after that 6-2 win for the Padres against the White Sox. We'll hear more from Mike on our postgame show coming up a little bit later on this afternoon. First pitch coming up at 1:10 here in downtown San Diego. Let's tell you who's hot, who's not.
Which player is locked in at the dish? Who needs to kick things up another notch? This is Who's Hot, Who's Not on the Padres Radio Network.
We begin with a look at the hot category. Let's start with Jackson Merrill. 2 hits and a walk, an RBI last night. He's batting .433 in his last 8 games with 6 doubles and a home run. Kevin Acee had this in the San Diego Union Tribune this morning. Merrill's .952 OPS since June 8th is second in the National League to only Shohei Ohtani's .1055 OPS in that same span. His .311 batting average, Merrill's .311 batting average, leads the National League in that span since June 8th. Just tremendous stuff from the rookie. Manny Machado will keep him in the hot category as well. 0 for 4 last night, still batting .340 in his last 13 games with 6 home runs, 3 doubles, and 18 RBI in that span. Fernando Tatis Jr. in the hot category in the midst of a 10-game hitting streak, batting .349 with 5 home runs, 4 doubles, and 10 RBIs in that span. In the not category, we had 2 guys teetering on exiting the not category going into yesterday. And I'll tell you that one officially exited the not category. The other one stays in, at least for one more day. Let's start with Xander Bogaerts. He had 2 hits on Saturday, a home run last night, so now 4 hits in his last 3 games, so he's officially out of the not category. Now, Jake Cronenworth had 3 hits on Friday, but then he went 0 for 4 last night. He's just 5 for his last 35 in the past 10 games, so we'll keep Jake in there for today. Unfortunately, we'll see if Jake can get out of the not category with a nice performance here today. And that's a look at who's hot, who's not as we get ready for the final game of this 3-game set against the White Sox. When we come back, we'll take a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard. We have our keys to the game. We'll hear from Brandon Lockridge. We'll also hear from new Padre infielder Nick Ahmed. We'll tell you more about that when we return. First pitch coming up at 1:10 here in downtown San Diego on the Padres Radio Network. Our EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park as we get ready for first pitch. Coming up at 1:10, final game of this three-game series between the Padres and the White Sox. It's Military Sunday here with the Padres, and we want to give a special salute to all our active duty service members, veterans, and their families. San Diego County Toyota dealers are proud partners of the Padres and honored to support San Diego's military community. Coming up in this segment, we'll hear from new Padres outfielder Brandon Lockridge. We'll tell you about the few moves the Padres made earlier today in just a moment. Also a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard and a full breakdown of our starting pitching matchup, including a look at Yu Darvish, who's on the mound today for San Diego. Let's tell you about the moves the Padres made earlier today with our injury report.
Who's in? Who's out? This is the Bada Fulkerson Injury Report, presented by San Diego's Bulldog Injury Attorneys, who hope you're never in an accident. But if you are, make Bada Fulkerson the first call you make. Hit them up 24/7 at badafulkerson.com.
The Padres made a few moves earlier today. Let's begin with the injury part of it, and that was placing shortstop Mason McCoy on the 10-day IL with back inflammation. That's retroactive to September 19th. The two moves alongside that one, number one, the Padres selecting the contract of veteran infielder Nick Ahmed earlier today. So Ahmed on the active roster today. From what I understand, he is eligible for the postseason roster as well. So Nick Ahmed, when he gets into a game, he'll make his Padres debut. Padres also placed Johnny Brito on the 60-day IL with a right elbow strain. That freed up a 40-man roster spot for Ahmed. So again, Nick Ahmed had his contract selected. He is in the clubhouse today. He is on the bench today. Mason McCoy to the 10-day IL with back inflammation, and Johnny Brito put on the 60-day IL. We'll get a little bit more into Ahmed coming up a little bit later. You'll also hear from Nick Ahmed coming up a little bit later as well, as the Padres add a veteran infielder, and again, somebody who could be on a postseason roster as well. A lot going on today around the major leagues, including some games that are very, very important to the San Diego Padres. Let's take a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard.
Let's take a trip around the Bigs and tell you about the scores you need to know in our out-of-town scoreboard. Presented by Jensen Meat, where great taste meets integrity.
We begin with a look at the couple of finals we have already today. Red Sox and the Twins playing a doubleheader in Boston today. Red Sox beat the Twins in game one of that doubleheader. Tristan Casas had 3 home runs in that game, 7 RBIs in game one of that doubleheader. Pirates beat the Reds 2-0 in Cincinnati earlier today. Another very good start for Paul Skeens in that game. He went 5 innings, no runs given up on 2 hits, and he struck out 9. Games going on right now. Tigers ahead of the Orioles 4-3 in Baltimore in the 7th inning. Braves and the Marlins tied at 4 in the 7th inning in Miami. Again, you know what? We'll save the playoff clinch scenario for a second here. But Braves and the Marlins tied at 4 in Miami in the 7th inning. Keep a very close eye on that game. Blue Jays and Rays tied at 2 in Tampa Bay in the 7th inning. Astros ahead of the Angels 4-0 in Houston in the 5th inning. Diamondbacks ahead of the Brewers 8-1 in Milwaukee in the 4th inning. Giants 2, Royals 0 in the 7th inning in Kansas City. Guardians 1, Cardinals 0 in St. Louis in the 6th inning. Rain delay before first pitch in Chicago between the Nationals and the Cubs. Mariners 2, Rangers 0 in Arlington in the 5th inning. Other games yet to begin. Yankees and the A's in Oakland at 1:07. Rockies and the Dodgers at 1:10 in LA. Twins and the Red Sox at 2:35 at Fenway Park, game 2 of that doubleheader. And that is a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard on this Sunday. An update for you. Braves have just taken a 5-4 lead in Miami over the Marlins. Again, the scenario today where the Padres could clinch a postseason spot, they would need the Braves to lose, the Mets to lose later today, and the Padres need to win their game against the White Sox. So again, a recap. Braves leading the Marlins 5-4. Diamondbacks beating the Brewers 8-1 in Milwaukee, so Brew Crew not helping out the Padres there right now. And a little bit later today, Rockies and the Dodgers in LA. Another game to keep an eye on, Phillies and Mets at 4 p.m. in New York. So we continue to take a very close look each and every day at the out-of-town scoreboard. Well, one guy you may not have heard from so far this season, since he was called up from AAA El Paso, is Brandon Lockridge, who has been a bench player as of late for the Padres, has done a nice job when he's had opportunities to pinch run, to get some at-bats, to also play defense. He did score the winning run the other night on the Fernando Tatis Jr. walk-off base hit in the 10th inning. Had a chance to catch up with Brandon Lockridge earlier today inside the Padres clubhouse. Let's talk a little bit about your experience so far with the Padres. Pretty unique opportunity to come up, join a team that is really on the precipice of securing a postseason berth, obviously has some big-time goals. What has the experience been like so far?
It's been everything I could ever imagine and more, to be honest with you. I was just telling some guy that never gets old winning, and to come and be a part of a really good team that's had a lot of success this year. It's been great to be a part of in the little bit I've been here. So
when you reflect on your journey, obviously somebody who spent a number of years in the minor leagues, what are the emotions as you come to the big leagues and be a part of this?
And it's really indescribable, I guess you could say. Just try to take every second of every day I've been given so far, and I'm just super thankful for the opportunity in general, and then whatever way I can contribute to the team and help win, I'm here to help. So like I said, I'm just trying to enjoy every second of it because this is a dream come true. So
you mentioned the opportunity and contributing any way you can. A good example is what you did the other night, pinch running late in a game. Fernando Tatis Jr. comes up, walks it off, you score the winning run. Take me through that moment. You're rounding third base with the winning run, sold out crowd going nuts. How's it feel?
Man, I blacked out going around third base. It was such an awesome experience. I get ready 6th, 7th inning, every game I'm not playing in or whatever, hoping for an opportunity like that, and to get that in the 10th inning or whatever. It was incredible. So happy for Tatis, such a good player, and then to see everybody storm the field and hear the crowd go crazy, it was awesome.
From a preparation standpoint, what does that look like for you right now? Because you're in a spot where you could do a number of things late in a game. You could pinch run. You could come in as a defensive replacement. You could certainly get in at bat as well. How are you staying fresh, staying ready throughout a ball game?
Yeah, I'm just kind of coming in and doing the same work that I've done my whole career. Obviously, the timing of that looks a little differently now, getting ready, 6th, 7th inning sort of thing. But from a preparation standpoint, still baseball, so I'm just trying to prepare as best I can every day. Now my prime, I guess, is later in the game. Try to get to max prepared, I guess you could say, at later innings of a game. So it's definitely cool.
Was Brandon Lockridge, new Padres outfielder, inside the clubhouse earlier today. Good catching up with Brandon, getting a little insight into his role on the Padres right now as they come down the final stretch of 2024. Just 7 games remaining in the regular season, including here today against the White Sox. Let's give you our keys to today's game.
How will the Padres unlock a victory in today's game? These are the keys to the game. Presented by Honor Buick GMC Hummer in National City.
Key number 1, limit Lenin Sosa. He's had a nice series so far. Had the 2-run home run on Friday to tie the game in the 10th inning. He also had 2 hits yesterday. And Sosa is a young player that's doing some good things right now for the Chicago White Sox. Should take a look at what Sosa's done in his last 14 games. He has 8 multi-hit games in that span, hitting .415 in that span. And White Sox do have Sosa back in the lineup today, playing second base and batting 6th. So he's been the one guy so far in this series that's really hurt the Padres. You got to limit him here today. Lenin Sosa, the second baseman for the White Sox. That's key number 1. Key number 2, hit the rookie. This is a young right-hander, just 24 years old. Sean Burke starting today for the White Sox, making just his 3rd major league outing. Last one was pretty good. We'll get more into him a little bit later. But look, this is a young starting pitcher. We've seen the Padres at times this season struggle against guys they've never seen before. Hey, don't let that be the case here today. Get to this young starting pitcher, Sean Burke. That's key number 2. Key number 3, just continue the Merrill madness. Jackson Merrill was in our hot category earlier today, swinging the bat really well as of late. You look at what Jackson has done throughout the season as he enters his final home regular season game of the year. He leads all major league rookies in RBI with 89, in batting average at 294, in home runs at 24, in OPS at 833. He has the most extra base hits and RBIs of any Padres rookie ever. He's been terrific. Continue the Merrill madness here today. In fact, I'm looking out into the loft here at the Western Metal Building. I see a couple of Jackson Merrill jerseys right in front of me. So it's been pretty remarkable to see those jerseys pop up more and more as the season has rolled along. And key number 4, this is not based in stats. It's not really based in anything but a narrative here. But hey, if you're the Padres, you've got an opportunity today to sweep a series from the White Sox. The White Sox, if they lose today, will match the Major League record, 120 losses. And they're in all likelihood going to cruise right past that all-time record. So if you're the Padres here today, you've got that kind of team on the ropes. Final game of a 3-game series. Time to take care of business here today. Finish up this series any way you got to get it done. When we come back, we'll hear from the newest Padre, Nick Ahmed. We'll also take a deeper dive into today's pitching matchup between Yu Darvish and Sean Burke. Much more to do on our pregame coverage. First pitch coming up at 1:10 from Petco Park on the Padres Radio Network. Our EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park as we get ready for first pitch coming up at 1:10 here in downtown San Diego. Padres going for a 3-game sweep of the Chicago White Sox in this home regular season finale. We'll hear from the newest Padre, Nick Ahmed, coming up in just a moment, so stay tuned for that. First, let's tell you what to watch for in today's game.
What's the one thing Sam Levitt will be keeping his eye on in today's game? This is What to Watch For. Presented by Genesis Home Improvements, San Diego's trusted painting, roofing, and window company. Save 15% today on a new beginning for your home. Visit GenesisHomeImprovementsSD.com.
What to watch for in today's game? How do the Padres finish up the regular season here at home? Padres have gone 44-36 here at home this year. Remember, last year they also had 44 wins at home in 2023. Really what to watch for in this game. The Padres already have hit 109 home runs in this building. That's already a new franchise record. The previous best was 101 home runs hit by the Padres in 2019 at Petco Park. So really what to watch for in this game. How many more home runs do the Padres hit here, and what does that new franchise record become for home runs in a season here at home by the Padres? Again, they've already set the new record at 109. They hit 3 more in yesterday's game. How many can they hit here today against what has not been a great White Sox pitching staff throughout 2024? And that's what to watch for in today's game, this series finale against the White Sox. Well, Nick Ahmed added to the Padres roster earlier today. From what we understand, he would be postseason eligible. And for Ahmed, obviously a long time with the Arizona Diamondbacks from 2014 through 2023. Then earlier this year, spent some time with the Giants. He also spent some time with the Dodgers. So really, Ahmed taking a tour of the NL West throughout his career, and especially here in 2024. Nick Ahmed spoke with the media inside the Padres clubhouse earlier today. Here was Ahmed on how it feels to be with the Padres.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. You know, anytime you join a team that's winning and in contention and got a chance to make the playoffs and do some damage in October is a lot of fun. So, you know, had some other opportunities to go to different teams, you know, after the Dodgers let me go, and just was obviously trying to target a team that had a chance to win and play in the playoffs. And, you know, thankfully I'm here.
And here was Nick Ahmed, his impressions of the Padres from afar so far this year.
Yeah, I mean, great team, you know, really deep offensively, pitching staff, bullpen's obviously been upgraded a ton, but just super talented team. I love the way they play, a lot of energy, and just excited to be here and be part of it.
What's it like seeing David again and being reunited?
Yeah, we played together for a long time, 9 years I think it was together in Arizona. One of my favorite teammates I ever had. You know, our wives are close, our kids started to grow up together there in Arizona, so he's the best.
Joining time to face the Dodgers and the Diamondbacks. Yeah. What's that like?
Yeah, funny timing. You know, God works in funny ways like that. When I signed with the Dodgers, the first game was against the Giants. So it's just funny. It's a lot of fun going against teams you know well, and played with their guys too. So it'll be a lot of fun.
That was Nick Ahmed, the newest Padre, earlier today inside the Padres clubhouse. Ahmed certainly available off the bench today. We'll see when Nick Ahmed makes his Padres debut. And again, he did sign early enough where he would be postseason eligible to be on the Padres postseason roster. So we shall see what the role looks like for Nick Ahmed moving forward. Let's dive into our pitching matchup today between Yu Darvish and Sean Burke.
Let's take a look at who's on the bump today with our starting pitching preview. Presented by Chimney Sweeps, Inc., San Diego's trusted chimney and fireplace service company for 40 years. Call Chimney Sweeps, Inc. at 1-800-CHIMNEY or book an inspection online at chimneysweepsinc.com.
Right-hander Yu Darvish on the mound for the Padres here today. 38 years old so far this season, 6-3, a 3.21 ERA, 14 starts, 70 innings, 65 strikeouts, and 19 walks. He's made 3 starts since coming off the IL, a 3.29 ERA, and 13 2/3 innings. Padres have won all 3 of his starts since he's returned. His last start against the Astros on Monday, 6 shutout innings, 3 hits given up. He was really, really good on Monday against Houston. One note with Darvish today to keep an eye on. Darvish is 6 strikeouts away from reaching 2,000 in his major league career. He would become the first Japanese-born pitcher to reach that milestone in the major leagues. Meanwhile, on the mound for the White Sox, right-hander Sean Burke, the 24-year-old rookie, 2 outings so far in the major leagues, a 2.25 ERA in 8 innings. Last start against the A's, 5 innings, 2 earned runs given up, 5 hits and 1 home run allowed. Picked up his first major league win a week ago against the A's. That won a series for the White Sox. In fact, it snapped their streak of 20 consecutive series losses. And that's a look at our starting pitching matchup today. The veteran right-hander Yu Darvish on the mound for the Padres, and the rookie right-hander Sean Burke on the mound for the White Sox. Well, again, the Padres could clinch a postseason spot today. Like we've said throughout the pregame show, they need 3 things to happen. First, they need the Braves to lose in Miami. Braves ahead right now 5-4 against the Marlins in the 7th inning, although Miami does have the bases loaded with 2 men away. We'll let you know if that score changes before we wrap up the pregame show here. Padres, though, need to take care of business here today against the Chicago White Sox. That's step number 2. And then the Padres would also need a loss today for the New York Mets against the Philadelphia Phillies. Remember, that game does not begin until after 4 p.m. here on the West Coast. So even if the Braves lose and even if the Padres win, we wouldn't know for hours after today's Padres game ended. We wouldn't know if the Padres did secure that postseason spot. So, again, going to be an interesting day, interesting few hours here. And I should tell you that the Marlins did not score in that 7th inning. So they go to the 8th inning in Miami. Braves 5, Marlins 4. I'm sure Jesse and Tony will keep you up to the minute on that score in Miami. You've been listening to the EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show on the Padres Radio Network. EcoWater SoCal, your water should be perfect. Find them online at EcoWaterSoCal.com. Padres winning the first 2 games of this 3-game set. Padres can win their 90th game of the season here today. They can also hand the Chicago White Sox a Major League record-tying 120th loss of their season. We'll see how it goes here today in the final home game of the regular season here in 2024. When we come back, Jesse Agler, Tony Gwynn Jr. have the full starting lineups, first pitch, and all the play-by-play. I'll talk to you on our post-game show. You're listening to your home for San Diego Padres baseball, 97.3 The Fan, and the Padres Radio Network. Enjoy the game, everybody.